What's up, everybody? Come on in. Gather around the table, the Funko Pops. We're here in the Sode Shack. We're doing some sound tests, some mic checks. We're getting our notes ready. We're going to have a fun episode for you guys tonight. We've got some spooky drops. So we'll have some fun tonight. We've got a good segment. We're bringing back a segment from last season that we did that was a lot of fun. Second half saviors. We're going to bring back our game fuel and our code red picks. We sounding good, Addy?
Sounding great, Joshy.
All right, good. Yeah, we're doing this little different setup tonight, so we want to make sure it sounds good. But come on in. Get your questions ready. We're going to do waiver wire targets, game fuel and code red picks, second half saviors. We'll hit the news. We'll talk who'd you get. Addy will do his signature who'd you get drop.
Yes, sir.
We're doing how you been?
How you been?
Gonna get real loud tonight.
How you been and who'd you get, Addy? Your two favorites.
I think I can take these off now. Hard to talk with you boys with that on.
Let me see.
We sound good, though. We sound really good.
What do you think? Do I sound good? That's the only
I
important
think we
thing
do sound good.
Yeah.
I think it is a delay. It's very weird to not scramble your brain.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
I think
So
we're
we'll
straight.
plug you back in, Addy. But everyone come on in. We'll be starting here in just a sec.
The water's fine. The water's just fine.
Water's just fine.
You put in the Boodle trade.
Yeah. What was that one? That was a 2022 first and a couple fourths?
Yeah, 221 force and then Denzel.
Denzel.
And
That's right. Good Lord. I was like, Denzel. Yeah, Washington? Who? All right.
I bet Denzel could ball, for real.
oh, for
At
sure.
one point.
I would love to. I would trade for Denzel.
I would trade
Washington.
for Denzel in a heartbeat.
No doubt.
So...
Can we make that a segue of what position, like what movie character do you want to get Denzel's like physical shape in, and what position are you playing Denzel at?
Denzel is a I feel like maybe a linebacker, kind of a rangy linebacker type, or a safety.
He's pretty yoked in training day.
Yeah, training day.
How tall is he?
He'd be
Though?
he'd be a
I don't think
nasty
he's that
safety.
tall. I'd say he's 6 foot range.
He'd be a good safety.
Yeah. I bet he has some speed.
Yeah.
He just gives me that athletic vibe. He was athletic built in, remember the Titans? Coach Boone?
Coach
Yeah.
Spoon.
Yeah,
That's
he was.
right. I need to go back and watch that. Can you believe it's been like 20 years since that movie came out?
Remember the tight ones.
Remember the tight ones?
Dude,
Classic.
that's, yeah. It's
That's
probably the
Forgetting
best
Sarah
football
Marshall,
movie.
right? No, that's Heartbreak Kid.
Yes.
With what's that guy's name? It's not Carlos Mencia, is it? That plays the.
Yes, I think it
is. It okay? That plays the guy who works at the hotel.
Yeah. Tied with Friday Night Lights for best football movie.
I agree. Great TV show too. If you've never seen the Friday Night Lights
so
TV
good.
show, we've been doing spooky movies in the lead up to Halloween, and watched Scream for the first time. I'd never seen Scream all the way through.
Wow. what do you
That's
think
real
about that?
nostalgic.
It was good. It
Gives
was really
big
good.
90s vibes,
Yes,
doesn't it?
yes, because you don't have any cell phones. Like
Good music.
killer music.
The soundtrack. It's always, the 90s always had awesome soundtracks.
Of course,
Is
they
it
did.
Sarah Jessica Parker that's in that?
No,
Who
it's
is
Nev
that?
Campbell and Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew
that's who it
Barrymore is
is.
the one that gets ganked at the very beginning, and then Nev Campbell's the one who's the virgin that is being stalked by the killer, Ghostface.
Yeah.
So they're coming out with the fifth one. I saw they're going to start filming the fifth movie.
I saw Drew Barrymore had that she had, I think that's who it was. I forget. One of the original cast members was rocking the original look that they had in Scream, and everybody was like, "Is there some reboot coming on?" Or
Well,
a new-
she brought back the character for a commercial, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, I think it was for a commercial. Kind of like how they brought back some the lady who answered the phones for the Ghostbusters did a H&R Block commercial or something like that. I think that was something similar. And of course they brought back John McClane and Die Hard for Goodyear tires or something like that, or AutoZone. I think it was AutoZone. So it's been a weird year for old movie and commercial tie-ins.
some callbacks.
Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen. Addy, you ready, baby? Let's do it.
Let's dive in.
Please, God, point your mic at your mouth.
Let's do it.
All right. Check. Good on the board. Let's make sure all our sounds are good here. So this is Michael Myers.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is super duper
That's
creepy. Okay, this should be the witch's laugh. That's amazing. Okay, and then this should be game fuel. And this should be code red. Yeah, okay.
We're good. They can't hear this at home.
No, they won't be able to hear it on the stream, but they'll hear it on the pod. It's a good reason to listen to both.
Yeah, listen to the pod. The drops are really, really good tonight.
Very good.
Are we doing the intro song or no?
Yes, we'll still do the intro song.
The spooky week intro song.
Oh no, we'll do the normal song. Okay.
Is it on here? The spooky week song?
Mm-mm.
I
was trying to get Thriller out there for all the
I didn't
MJ fans.
I didn't have enough room for Thriller.
I thought it would be a good idea if we like all dressed up too. That'd be kind of cool.
That's what they do on the fantasy footballers. It's funny to see every year who they dress up as. Like one year, the main host dressed up as Batman, and his costume was so constricting. He was like talking like this, like he was doing an involuntary Batman voice.
Where's Rachel?
Rachel.
That's a good one.
It was very good. I watched that movie. It was on TNT or something, AMC, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Another good one to rewatch. All right, boys. You ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. What's up, you diehards, you degenerates, you lovers of defensive football? This is Josh Raymer, and we are back with another episode of the Big 3 IDP podcast. And joining me in the Sode Shack tonight, just a few days removed from All Hallows Eve. To my left, Connor Raymer. To my right, Adam Markham. Boys, how are we this evening?
Doing well, Joshy! Very close to Halloween. You boys getting scared?
I am when this music that Connie found for us comes on.
Doing a stabbing motion right now. It's bad radio, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty spooky about this epi.
So, Connor, do you remember when we were younger, living at home, and Dad, for some reason, thought it'd be a great idea on our one computer in the living room to install the Halloween screensaver? And so at 3 a.m., full blast on the speakers, this music comes on in the dead of night. Do you remember this?
Yeah, and it actually had like a video slideshow with, like, I think Michael Myers on it. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, so definitely still have, night terrors about the Halloween music.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dad, for that, that scarring memory.
He's always been ahead of his time on just, like, pranks that just, like, don't quite cross the line, but they get up there to it to, like, to scare people.
You're giving him too much credit. I think he had no idea the screensaver was going to do that.
Yeah.
I think he just thought that's really cool and let me get a Halloween screensaver.
That is believable, too.
And we also, of course, so Addie doesn't have to do the witch's laugh, we have the witch's laugh. Again, sorry for the folks watching on the stream. You can't hear the sound effects tonight, but listen to the audio pod because they are very good
I
drops.
guess I can do the witch's laugh.
Yeah, recreate it for us. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, yeah, it is spooky season. Connor will be over in your neighborhood trick-or-treating. Excited to, take Paxton out for his first round of trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and I'd encourage all of you all. I mean, unless it's, like, shut down in your city, I mean, it's the perfect reason. Put a mask on.
That's right.
Wear a mask.
Everyone's wearing a mask at Halloween anyway.
Like, put a mask on, go out, and either get some candy or just, just get out and walk around. Enjoy some of the pretty weather if you're fortunate like us here in pretty BGKY to have some beautiful fall weather. And looks like we're going to get a break in the rain, so it's going to be a fun time. Markham will be there, obviously, with the Psy Man.
Yeah.
Has Silas decided on a costume yet?
He's going to be Chase from Paw Patrol.
There you go.
Yeah.
Big police officer fan.
There we go. I
So
love
his
it.
dad.
Yeah, for sure.
His dad backs the blue big time.
Yeah.
Good deal. So we should also mention, Connie, have the boys picked out their costumes yet, or have you all picked it out for them, I guess?
They're monkeys.
They're monkeys, okay.
Yeah. Literally the last time I told Beck, I was like, this will be the last year we can make a monkey out of them before they start being some, like, Blippy or a police character or something else.
Right.
Don't even get me started on Blippy. I had to let Becca know the ugly truth about that dude.
Just like when we found out about the Teletubbies. It's just crushing news all the way around.
Do a Google search.
Don't get on the internet anymore.
Yeah,
Just stay off the internet.
Don't trust anyone.
It's fortunate. You boys are fortunate. I mean, the kids are still young enough where you can kind of put them in a costume and what you want.
That's
you know.
right.
Next year is going to be a big one for probably both of you. I'd say
3 years old is when they start to pick. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'd say so.
My goal is we've already got something picked out for next year because they're too uncoordinated this year. They're like two little drunk guys stumbling around. But we thought about doing. I hope they're into Toy Story, and that they'll want to be the Slinky Dog, because I'll be, if Becca wants to be Woody or Buzz, I'll be the other, and do that, or I'd be Mr. Potato Head. I thought that would be a sick one.
You
too.
should go as Bo Peep, really.
Yeah.
Let's just break down some
break
gender
roles,
gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ceiling
Absolutely.
is the roof.
That's right. Paxton will be going as the Travelocity roaming gnome from Amazing Race. We'll be going as Amazing Racers. Just throw a backpack on and some matching outfits and have some fun.
Will you bring some backpack beers on the walk?
Sure, yeah. We actually, remember our wedding photographer, Jesse, who took our pictures
Yes.
for my wedding? So Jesse sent us some promotional backpacks and fanny packs. So we'll be rocking those for Halloween, and I'll throw some beers in there for you guys.
Shout out Jesse.
That's right. We're going to be giving those away, hopefully. So
Very nice.
good stuff, boys. Well, Halloween, we'll definitely report back after we have, spooky season this weekend and let you know how it went. It's kind of a weird year, but like Connor said, this is, I think, one of the things that we can do, and it should be relatively normal, even with COVID going on.
That's right. Hey, Connor's a virus denier, so don't listen to everything this guy says.
I love that we've touched on police and, COVID deniers, and this is great. We're going to get canceled, first thing tomorrow, hopefully.
No one's getting canceled quicker than me. I've been accused of being a COVID denier and a Proud Boy on the
Sure,
show.
hey,
So
it's all lining up.
I'm gonna
accused.
I'm gonna get doxxed real hard on the show at
For
some
sure.
point.
So this is going to be a fun episode, and we've got some good stuff coming up, fellas. We have, of course, second half saviors tonight. This is a segment we're bringing back from last season, where we're going to be talking about some under-the-radar guys that could potentially, some IDPs, that could potentially save the second half of your fantasy football season if you're decimated by injuries, or you've made some trades that haven't worked out. We all have bye weeks that we're dealing with, so we want to help you all out in terms of these are some guys you can look to outperform expectations. It was a fun segment last year, Addy, and we're dusting it off again for the listeners because why the hell not?
It's a good episode. I mean, we're nearing the end here.
That's right. We're in the stretch. This is the home stretch.
We got
right here.
what, like 6 weeks, maybe 5 or 6 weeks,
going into week 8
for the 5 or 6 for fantasy.
For fantasy, that's right.
For fantasy regular season, right? So yeah, I mean it's getting down to it. You know what time? What cutting time?
What cutting time is it?
Sir,
What kind of cutting? I need to know specifically.
Cashew cutting.
Cashew cutting. So we got some shout outs. Leezus, our boy, saying what's up in the chat.
What's up, Leezus?
What's up, Leezus? And Boo Bam. Boo Bam checking in per the usual. What's up, Boo Bam?
Leezus, I'm not interested in Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, me either. He messaged me the same thing. Little too much on the salary. Oh, we should mention, and people might have seen this on Twitter, we had an opening in the XFFL, our main league on the Reality Sports Online platform, and Big 3 best friend, John Macri, is now in a fantasy league. For some reason, he agreed to join this little dysfunctional family that we have.
Yeah, shout out PFF Macri.
Yes. Jumping in the league, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I'm sure he's like, what did I sign up for?
Probably very overwhelming for him.
Absolutely.
I know there was a huge argument like right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Like 20 minutes into introducing him, me and Ben and Nico all had this this Odell Beckham conversation.
Yeah, it was like the famous video of the monkeys throwing their poop at each other is essentially what it was.
Yeah, instant regret. It's one of those things that I was like, oh, my regret getting involved in this. But, it's love them boys with like family to us. John's going to be part of our family now.
Showbiz, baby.
That's right. Whether you like it or not, John, that's the thing about family. You don't get to pick them, even though you picked this one. Maybe with some regret here. But he's already made his first trade, so he's jumping right in. It's been a very active time. We'll talk about some of these moves that we've made. We've got Game Fuel and Code Red picks on tonight. We've got waiver wire targets. We've got news. We've got who'd you get. We've got second half saviors. We should mention I've been in contact with my personal big fish, Mark Sessler, and we're looking at bringing Mark back on November 10th. So we're going to confirm that date with him next week to make sure that works with his schedule. But if that works out, we will have the return of Sessler on the pod November 10th. So look forward to that. But gentlemen, let's get into the news. A few things to hit on here. Unfortunately, some injury news, Addy, and we'll talk about both of these at the same time. Landon Collins out for the season with a torn Achilles, and Odell Beckham Jr. out for the season with a torn ACL. Which of these two do you see as the bigger loss for their team?
Well, that's a good question. Because, we saw what happened when Beckham went out. I think he was 0 of 5 to start. And then Beckham goes out and seems to kind of open up the offense. Maybe he's not forcing stuff. Maybe he's, just making the right reads. Whereas when you got Beckham or someone like that out there, I think you have a tendency probably to try and force the ball their way. There's that argument that's out there. I don't know. It wasn't a really good team. I mean, I'm not, team. That was kind of the matchup that was set up to be kind of a back and forth one. I don't expect that to be the norm for the passing offense going forward. I mean, I think losing Odell Beckham is not never a good thing.
It's not a good thing. There could be, the team will look different.
Yeah.
That Bengals defense is not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it doesn't really. I hate it. This is crushing.
I'm covering his ears right now. Bad radio again, but I don't want Odell to hear this.
I'm on your side, Odell. There's a lot of haters out there.
I think if for all of the Odell Beckham haters out there, they were sitting there watching that game on Sunday like this. And again, for those of you on the stream, that's the witch's laugh. Just cackling in themselves because they're saying, look how good this offense looks.
Yeah.
And I do think there is something to be said for... the force-feeding the targets to Odell argument. But I don't think that's ever a bad thing. Look at Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Mm-hmm. It can work. But I do think there's also something to be said for the fact that Baker and Odell just never found that connection. And I don't know if it just goes back to he missed that training camp, that first year with the Browns. They had the offseason this year, but I don't know. I don't know, Connor. What do you think? Do you think Odell's in Cleveland next season?
No.
You think he's gone?
I do. I think he's going to go somewhere else. I mean, I could see, if Michael Thomas leaves the Saints, I could see him winding up in a fun offense like that. But Odell's got to go somewhere where they're going to let him have personality and, kind of like the Cam Newton situation. He's just such a big personality and persona off the field. But I'm like you all. I can't put my finger on it. My biggest Browns fan that I know, good buddy of mine, he's from Northeast Ohio, just lives and breathes Cavs, Browns, all that. But it was the exact thing he said. And he's real tuned in to, fantasy and actually watching the games and dissecting them. He said it's obvious when you break it down that Baker feels the need to just force feed him the football. And that's kind of a trend with Odell, right? And that's kind of a trend with prima donna receivers that they demand so much attention, it throws off the offense's ability to have cohesiveness and rhythm and everything else, because if they don't get the ball, he's kicking the net and having to come apart, and it's just, there comes a point where a guy like that becomes an Antonio Brown, and you're thankful to have an opportunity to get basically a fully bonus type deal.
Yeah, so there's...
Kyle Shanahan has a really good quote about that. I think whenever he came to San Francisco, there was a lot of people asking him, well, hey, do you need like a Julio Jones type? And he was like, no, I really don't. I just need receivers that have a certain skill set and do what I need them to do in this offense.
It's the Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
There's a really good book I'm reading right now. It's Three Ring Circus. It's about the Showtime Lakers, or about the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. And Phil Jackson, and it's written by Jeff Pearlman, who's my favorite sports writer, and he talks about how the triangle with the Lakers was always better when Kobe Bryant was not involved, because Kobe was a triangle killer. Anytime the ball came to him, it was dribble, 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 shoot. Mm-hmm. And instead of passing the ball and working the triangle like it should. And that was kind of reminded me of something I heard that I didn't see during the game, but whenever it was one of the touchdowns to Harrison Bryant, I don't know if it was this game or the game before, but I was listening to another podcast, and they said that when Baker threw a touchdown to Harrison Bryant, he didn't run and celebrate with Bryant. He actually ran over and was talking to Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, apparently consoling them, like telling them or trying to like talk them off the ledge of like, don't worry guys, you're going to get yours. And I just thought that was kind of weird that in that moment he wasn't celebratory over the touchdown. He was worried about, oh no, are Jarvis and Odell going to be mad now?
Yeah, that's a definite thing. I mean, those guys, you gotta feel like if you're like a wide receiver 3 or 4 on that depth chart, you got to be somewhat excited just that you're gonna have an opportunity now. And Odell, like Connor mentioned, he's just, I mean, there's just a lot that comes with him. It's like the Tebow thing, like these people that just have these like crazy fan bases. Like, I don't know, it's a lot to deal with. When you're a team and you're trying to have this mantra that everyone's equal, and it's like there are some guys that just seem larger than life, and
that's
he's
true.
kind of one of those types.
And he's boys obviously since college with Jarvis, so it's like Jarvis can't level with him. And most of the times, like the good teams that have that alpha, there's another alpha that can check him because there's not a lot on that team that can do that. So I feel like that relationship, when you're that tight and you're that close to boys, I'm sure they, as the kids say, keep it a buck with each other. But
is that a new phrase now?
It's out there.
Ooh.
It's been out there since I think 2018.
I'm still saying
so.
keep it 100.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
Man.
keep it a buck. But again, when you're that tight, it's hard to do. And that's hard to do even if you weren't that tight with a personality that big. Same with Cam. I'm sure y'all saw the coach. Who was that? Jeff Garcia that came at him saying, you're too worried about how you look and how you dress and you're not worried about how you're playing and all that. So I'm not saying that's the case with Odell, but he has a lot of that, man. He has the tantrums.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't think that Odell is bad or anything like that. Like, I don't think that he is the reason for them struggling. I think he just kind of been in bad situations. I think that the Giants with a 33-year-old Eli Manning who was past his prime. He had 2 or 3 good years with him where I think Eli was still kind of holding on and could do some things.
I think Odell in that situation was making Eli look good and not the other way around.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the stats, I mean, he really, that first year that he was in the league, like, he really tore it up. But, and then he gets traded to Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland Brown, we were all kind of excited. We all kind of thought Baker was going to be a lot better than he kind of has been. I think he's been kind of disappointing, compared to how he started his career there in Cleveland. But I just don't think, I don't think you can really put a ton of blame on Odell when he is, I think he does want to win, and he's been kind of in 2 really dysfunctional organizations. And I admit, he has done a lot of this himself. Like, I'm a huge Odell stan, and I'll defend him forever. But he's gone from the Giants to the Browns.
Yeah, imagine if he was on the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. We'd be looking at him as the best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's not been in like the worst situations imaginable, like a Jets situation, like with Sam Darnold, the setup he's had. But he's not been in great situations either.
Yeah.
He's been in okay situations.
That'd be the piece de resistance that
If
he
he
just has to
went to the
go
Jets.
across the locker room from where he used to be there to the Jets locker room. And shout
I think
out
he would.
George,
I think
shout
he
out
would
George
retire.
Fant. I pull for the Jets to win because they got one of our guys there from BG starting on the line, captain there. But it's just not a great. It's not a great time to be a Jet. But I don't know, man. I feel for him, but that's a fair point. I mean, he's had a crap hand. And, man, that's everything in life. It's just how luck sometimes shakes out and the position it puts you in to be successful. So, I feel for him, man. There's a landing spot somewhere for him, a team that needs a Texans, a Dolphins, a team that's got a lot of veterans but needs some, a little offensive firepower. I mean,
The Dolphins would make sense. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
he loves Miami, I'm sure.
With Parker and Preston Williams, that's a nice 1-2-3 punch then.
It just wasn't a good fit there.
No.
in Cleveland. And also the offense isn't conducive, for someone like that. So, for a player like Odell, like it's not going to work for someone like that.
He needs to go be the centerpiece and have a clear Robin. I think you look at a guy like Parker, he can maybe be a Robin to his Batman. And
Yep.
You've got a young quarterback that has, I think...
We'll see how he is this weekend, making his debut.
He just needs to go somewhere where he's in a fun offense. You know, I think like somewhere like LA would really suit him.
Mm-hmm.
I worry like San Fran would be kind of a similar situation where like targets would be hard to come by.
I don't like the San Fran landing spot.
There's certain spots where I think he
what about with Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen?
Herbert would be beautiful.
Yeah, that would be a lot of
That
fun.
would be nice.
Yep.
Or Green Bay, you know, I mean, there's gonna be these opportunities for him. I think like where he's gonna actually have a chance to pick where he wants to go. That's a big key for me with Odell.
He's under contract though, isn't he? So he's not going to get to pick unless he gets straight up cut.
Which I think is.
You think they're just going to cut him?
Maybe.
I think they could still get something for him. I really do.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I just don't. It's not a hopeless situation where they wouldn't get anything in return.
But I think maybe he could force his hand to a better situation.
Could be. Like
I'd love to see that, man. Just go to a team where you can win.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep the train rolling here, boys, and talk about Antonio Brown. I want to just hit this quickly. This happened officially yesterday. He signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Connie, are you excited or nervous about this move for Tampa Brady?
I'm always... I want to see Antonio play. I mean, he's been a total clown for the last, it seems like, I guess, since he's been in the league, he's just been a lot better at covering it up, but... football-wise, I love watching him play. Football's better with Antonio Brown playing. Now, can he get along with B.A.? You saw that warm welcome that he gave him on that, fit in or get out. Basically his only opening statement about it. And he had made the comment earlier in the year, there's no place for him. So I think that dynamic will be interesting to see how it goes, but...
it is funny this came to fruition because there were those rumors at the beginning of the season, weren't there? I forgot about those.
And B.A. shot it down. He said, no, there's no room for him here.
Hey, B.A. versus A.B.? You kidding me?
So Addie's excited about, just for that, the initial off right there.
Unbelievable.
I give it a 10 out of 10, Addie. That was gorgeous.
It's unreal right there.
So you've been the big Tampa Bay, believer this offseason. Do you like this move?
I mean, yes, kind of now. After everything we've heard about Chris Godwin.
Broken his finger?
Yes, it sounds like he's going to be out for a few weeks. And now they can kind of, they have the luxury of being able to rest guys like that. I know Mike Evans has kind of been gutting through a lot of these games.
I think he's at like 75%.
Yes. I mean, he's been banged up every week. Like, he's hobbling out there if you've watched any of the games. So I think they can, they can let these guys rest if they actually, if they need to now. So, yeah, I mean, it's an awesome receiver room. I mean, this is the best receiver room of all time, right? I mean, that's pretty good. It's the best offense of all time. I know a lot of these guys are kind of past their prime, but I mean, there's no question that there has never been a better offense than this.
You think it's better than 07 Pats with Brady and Randy Moss?
Yeah, kind of do. I mean, they got...
I don't know that they're going to have the levels of production like that team or the Peyton Manning Broncos when they had Sanders and Demaryius Thomas and Julius Thomas.
Right, and they're not as fun to watch as a team like that, I guess. But, I mean, as far as, like, Hall of Famers in an offense, you know what I mean?
Brady, Gronk. I don't think AB's a Hall of Famer. Do you?
He should have been.
He should have been. I mean, before his career got derailed.
Mike Evans is trending that way. I mean, he's put up 1,000 yards every year. May not get it this year, but might get 20 touchdowns.
Seriously,
Peyton, Reggie, Marvin, Edge.
That was a good offense.
That's
for sure.
That's 4 Hall of Famers right there. They'll all get in the Hall.
But Brady, Gronk, I think Evans, I think Godwin could get there. He's still 23. Let's not forget that.
Could be.
LeSean
McCoy. Could be.
LeSean McCoy, yes. I mean,
it should be in the discussion.
Conversation, right?
Definitely offensively one of the most talented in the last decade.
For sure.
No doubt.
I mean,
Plus.
Ronald Jones is going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Leonard Fournette's already there. They've got his bust ready. Levante David will definitely be a Hall of Famer, I think.
Yeah.
But that's on the defensive side. So, Eddie, a couple trades here. Moving on to the next piece of news we want to talk about. Just happened today. And we'll talk about both of these, and then we'll jump to waiver wire targets so we can keep this train rolling. Emerson Griffin traded to the Detroit Lions for a conditional 2021 6th-rounder. And then earlier, Yannick Ngakoue traded to the Ravens for a 2021 3rd-rounder and a 2022 conditional 5th-round pick. So essentially the Vikings moved back like a round and a half for 6 weeks of Yannick Ngakoue. So speak to it as the Vikings fan. obviously it was a different time 6 or 7 weeks ago when the Vikings made this trade originally than it is now.
Right, and that's really it. You know, they made this trade at the beginning of the year when they thought they were going to be okay. They thought that Hunter was going to be coming back after 4 weeks, probably. And on paper that looked like a pretty solid team. But it just didn't turn out to be.
It didn't.
You know,
Danielle Hunter never came back.
Right.
Cousins is talking about I should probably be benched.
The offense was really just.
Dalvin Cook got hurt.
Right. The offense just was. I don't know. It took a little bit for them to figure out what they, how to even move the ball. They've gotten better about that, but the defense isn't good. It's an aging team. It's just not a good team. Kirk Cousins is not that good of a quarterback. He's not the answer there. He's far too overpaid.
Like you said, I don't even think there's anyone out there that would trade for Kirk right now.
No, I mean, I do know that Kyle Shanahan has always loved Kirk Cousins.
That's true.
I don't know if
he was there in Washington when they drafted Cousins, wasn't he?
Yes. So that could be, that'd be an upgrade over Garoppolo.
I agree.
Jimmy G stinks.
He sucks.
He's extremely handsome.
Hot.
Just go be a model,
gosh,
but
he's
get
so
off
hot.
my football field. All right, Addie, I want you to look up the Steelers' schedule because I'm going to ask you a question in just a second. Connie, I'm going to ask you to wrap up the news here. Baltimore Ravens signed Dez Bryant, throw up the X, to their practice squad. Do you think he makes it on the field for them this season?
I do. Yeah, I think will he actually contribute a major role? Probably not. Guys like that, if you've worked your way onto a practice squad, I just feel like, barring some crazy injury or something, that it's more about the juice and the leadership, not that he was... But, I mean, that's a high-energy guy, and if you need a veteran to come in and kind of challenge some guys and get guys motivated or make just the occasional package play, I don't see any reason why you couldn't maybe get some game day reps out of Dez. So I may be overly optimistic here, but I don't see why you bring a name that big onto the practice squad with no intention of elevating him to active roster.
Yeah, we'll see. The Ravens aren't specifically very deep at wide receiver. When you've got Willie Snead playing significant snaps. Let's see if Dez Bryant has something left in the tank. I agree, Connie. I think we'll see him on the field this year. So, Addie, Steelers are the last undefeated team. Tell me when you think they get that first L.
Could be this week.
Who they got?
Ravens.
Ooh, that's right. Game of the week.
That'd be a good one. So they got the Ravens. Then they got the Cowboys. That's a win for sure. Then they got the Bengals. Then they got the Jaguars. Then they got the Ravens again.
So there's a loss coming in there.
Likely.
You're losing. You're not going to beat the Ravens twice,
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, I think you figure.
I think you probably split. So, Boobam brought up a good point for Kirk Cousins. And in a certain world, this would make sense. And maybe that world is a world in which they're still in the mix inexplicably for the NFC East. But what about Dallas as a landing spot for Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
If you're Jerry Jones, are you picking up the phone?
That'd be a decent little Band-Aid. I mean, yeah, no one's out of it in that division.
Here's what's crazy. They could win the NFC East and still have a top 7 or 8 pick.
See, there's so many teams, though, that should be, putting these quarterbacks on the block.
Embrace the tank, baby.
I don't get it. I guess that they're just worried about, hurting their QB's feelings or something. But, I mean,
You put him on the block, he'll be out the door soon enough. You won't have to worry about his feelings.
Yeah.
Can the Colts not get anything for Jacoby to Dallas? You got Bill Parcells ties to Dallas, and Bill Parcells is probably one of the biggest Jacoby's a better quarterback than whatever that dude's name is.
Ben DiNucci.
I was going to say.
Yeah, that's who they're running out there on Monday Night Football.
He's got a great name, a strong name.
DiNucci!
Brisket could come in and I think cure a lot of their problems. He plays real safe, conservative football, no turnovers. So I think, like you all mentioned, it's not like they're the NFC West the year of Beast Quake, where Seattle is 7-9 hosting a playoff win.
I think Dallas could be, or whoever wins that division could be 5-11.
I think it's going to be Philly.
You think so?
I do.
I think they're the best team right now,
they're the
even though
best
they're
team.
terrible. But those other teams are just complete flaming dung heaps.
There's no quarterback.
No.
That's the thing. I mean, say what you will about Wentz, and there's plenty of memes and stuff to throw about him, and people have said I look like Wentz, which Please,
true.
Please, no one make a meme of me next to doing the Spider-Man meme with Carson Wentz, because
who's our Photoshop experts out there? Our meme lords.
Yeah,
we need you right now.
Yeah, it could be bad.
Look up Connie on Twitter and get his picture, and please do that for us. All right, let's hit some waiver wire targets here. Addy, let's talk about these dudes here. I'm going to throw some names out, and you tell me what you're thinking on these guys, all right? Daniel Sorensen, one of the highest scoring safeties on the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good option now.
He's always been solid.
He's always solid. Seems
Not
like
sexy.
Yeah, every single year. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. I mean, you know, you're always looking for like a DB2 or whatever. He can definitely be that for you. He's always going to be the guy that gets the tackles, it seems, you know, back there. So
that's right. I was going to look up and see actually where he was in our RSO league scoring, because I remember I was looking at the
coming off a very big week.
He is. So oh my gosh, he's currently safety number 6.
Seems like he does that, you know, randomly.
He has as much scoring as Jeremy Chen.
Wow.
They're 0.1 points apart.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely get him.
That's right. What about Damian Wilson? They're on the same team.
I mean, you know how kind of that goes. It seems like him and Hitchens kind of alternate weeks, but Wilson's been playing well lately. You know, I don't know how long that keeps up. We've seen this before.
Now, what about Romeo Okwara after the Emerson Griffin trade? Are you still interested?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't see how. It is Patricia, so you know.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
national coaching is not a thing here.
I like Trey Flowers. He's had a nice little season for like your DN2, but man, I just don't know if I want Emerson Griffin or Romeo Okwara, despite the fact that they should be doing really well for your IDP squads. But you're right. Do we trust anything in Detroit to be stable and make sense?
No, this probably just hurts everybody. I mean, I don't know. I have Griffin in a few leagues, and
doesn't do much.
Kind of indifferent.
Doesn't move the needle.
About the same.
What about Josh Sweat of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I mean he's another good option. I mean the snaps have been down a little bit lately, so that's a little worrisome. But I mean he started out the year pretty strong. You know, he had 3 sacks in his first 4 weeks, but he hasn't done much since. So I'm sure people are a little frustrated. But you know, maybe he's due for bounce back games here.
I was looking. I think Montez Sweat was DN3 in our league this year so far.
Oh yeah, his brother.
Yeah, his bro, the Sweat Bros. Yeah,
yeah. Montez Sweat's been great.
He's been great. Brandon Graham DN2 and Myles Garrett DN1. So the names we all expected to see atop that list, not quite. Connor, I'm gonna hit you up for this next one. You know what time it is. Can't believe this guy is still not rostered in more leagues than this. Only 3% in Yahoo. Kari Willis.
The disrespect to even have, you know, be having him hang around, but hey, it's a small number, so I'm glad to see there are a lot of people that are starting to take notice, I should say, of Kari. So Colts got a nice little interesting young safety tandem there, and we're gonna miss Malik Hooker this year. He's gone for sure.
Yep.
He's as gone as Eric Ebron was about 2 or 3 weeks from now last season.
Well, they didn't pick up his options.
Yeah.
That was always
writing was on the wall well before he got hurt
conclusion.
again. But yeah, like Kari, if he's available, you know, give him a shot if you need somebody on a roster filler space. He's a thumper, man.
That's right. I have Kari. I think he is the highest of my 2, because I had Jonathan Abram and Anthony. No, not Anthony Harris. Who's the other one, Addy? Eric? No. Who's the other Viking safety?
Harrison Smith.
Harrison Smith, thank you. So I had Jonathan Abram and Harrison Smith, and I thought, okay, those 2 guys will be my highest scoring safeties before I acquired Buddha, which we'll talk about. No, it was Kari Willis. Kari Willis was outscoring both of those dudes right now.
Yeah, he's been solid, but a little bit of a letdown based on what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to be I thought that the tackle numbers were going to be consistent. Luckily, he's been having some big plays to kind of, you know, neutralize that out, but still a great option.
Yeah, he is currently, it looks like, safety 27 in our RSO league right now, sandwiched in between Devin McCourty and Trey Boston. Only 2 spots down from Taylor Rapp, about 1.5 points different there. So
where's Julian? Is he on that list?
He is not on that list right now. Not top 30.
Don't be sleeping on him. He's
That's
coming.
Right.
I think he was the highest ranked rookie defensive player, if I'm not mistaken, by PFF this past week. I mean, he's going to be, if he keeps it up, he may not win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I'm just telling you, he's going to give you a real chance. Julian Blackman is. If he keeps playing the way he is, that consistent level, especially with some competition versus some of these just cheeseball games. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's safety 60 right now. Past few weeks, he went 15 points, 5.25 points, and then 11.4 points before the bye. So
did not play. Worth noting, did not play for the first few games of the season because of injury, because obviously Malik was starting in front of him. So was forced in, overcame ACL surgery. I just, again,
it's amazing he's playing this year.
I know we're talking about Kari, man, but I love that tandem there.
I like it as well. So let's hit the next guy here. Former Colt, Addy, Jerry Hughes.
No.
Nope. We talked about this in the offseason. Sometimes, good veteran role players have big blow-up games. Doesn't mean you should read too much
He had a
into
monster
it.
game. I mean, look at his game log, though. It's like 5 points, 6 points, 2 points, 5 points, 2 points, 3 points, 33.
Yeah. Outlier. Don't buy into it. So what about Kamal Martin, linebacker for the Green Bay Packers?
Yes. I like Kamal.
All right, tell me about
our
him.
boy Bellyfield likes him too.
Ooh,
yeah,
he is the Packers fan,
he's
right?
a Packers insider right
All
there.
right.
Also, Shannon Sells, shout out listener.
We love Shannon.
Big fan as well. So yeah, I mean, Kamal Martin. Chris Barnes is he got kind of a lot of the hype because he had some good numbers last week.
And his name's spelled really cool.
Yeah, but Kamal's kind of the guy that took over once Summers went out. So I think he's going to be the one that kind of gets it now because Barnes is hurt.
All right. Oh, is he really?
Yes.
Did not realize that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. This is a guy that we talked about a lot in that Washington linebacker group that we couldn't quite figure out who was going to emerge, but Cole Holcomb had himself a nice little game. What do you think?
Yeah, he's playing great as of late. I mean, last 2 weeks he's gotten 33 and 40 snaps, so that's good. And I mean, he's doing a lot with those snaps. So I mean, he had 4 tackles, a sack, a pick this past week. So I mean, that's huge. Coaches take notice of that stuff. I'd say that he'll probably get some more playing time.
I like Cole Holcomb a lot. What about DJ Wanham?
Oh yeah, baby.
Tell me about DJ.
So no more Yannick, of course. We know about Danielle Hunter being banged up, but his future there is kind of murky. They don't have a lot of talent, but this guy is talented. If you look at his playerprofiler.com, if you look at his profile, he's got a good one. He comps to Alden Smith.
Ooh.
He was a 4th-round pick out of South Carolina. Kind of a project type, but he's already getting playing time, and he's looking decent with it. So the opportunity's there. I think the talent's there. I expect big things going forward with this guy.
So it's going to be the DJ Wanham and the Fetty Odanigbo show in Minnesota?
I love that. It's a new thing we're going to start doing, Josh.
DJ Wanham? All right, I can hang with that.
Add it to the board. Has to be added.
All right, cut it out. Cut out my own voice and put it on there. All right, so we should be staying away from Chris Barnes for right now because of the injury.
I think so, but I mean, keep him on your radar too. But Christian Kirksey is also due back, so I mean, it's kind of like to be too confident in any of these linebackers. I don't know. Be careful.
Be careful.
Kirksey's due back.
Kirksey, yeah,
that could throw a wrench in all this stuff.
Yeah,
but I do like Martin.
Agreed. So what about Ronnie Harrison? They're in Cleveland.
Yeah, it seems like the takeover is here. I mean, the snaps have been trending up. 68 this week.
That's a lot.
I know Carl Joseph, I think, was a little banged up. He might not even played. But anyway, when he's out there, he's making plays. Like 9 tackles, a sack, a fumble recovery. That's huge.
There's a reason they traded for this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, that was kind of the plan all along. I mean, I think it's taken longer than they initially thought. I remember Woolard was talking about it like around week 3 or 4. He's a Browns fan. He said that the plan was, after they traded for him, to kind of give him like 2 or 3 weeks to kind of learn the playbook. Well, that's kind of taken longer. But it seems that time is here. Place is here.
Place is also here. The time is here.
I was waiting on it. I was like, please say he'll
Please
connect the
say
dots
it.
here.
Please say it. Emerson Griffin. If he's out there on waiver wires, any interest? I mean, I think I'd take a flyer on him. Why not?
Yes.
I wouldn't expect too much.
I mean, he can have good weeks for you. He can get sacks. I think he's still a really good player. Obviously not what he was, but he's I think like Michael Bennett, who was very productive. He's a little bit of a grown ass man.
He is. He's not on the Mount Rushmore, but he's looking up at it. He's like, maybe one day.
Very underrated. I've always been a big fan of Griffin.
Now, what about Hassan Reddick there?
Yes.
Been having a little bit of a career reinvention in Arizona.
I know. How about it, man? So I mean, he's getting, I guess, some of the snaps that Chandler Jones that Chandler Jones had. He's kind of playing his role a little bit. But 81 snaps last week, career high by far, or not career high, but season high by far. 11 tackles and a sack.
That's a very nice day.
Very nice.
I like that a lot. Yeah, he's a big. Unfortunately, he's probably going to get dinged with like that LB designation on some platforms. But they were talking about on the broadcast how they moved him back to his pure kind of outside pass rusher position instead of forcing him to play linebacker, and how that's made such a big difference.
Yeah, he's already got 5 sacks on the year. Also, while I'm thinking of it, Marcus Golden, they traded for him.
That's right.
A former Cardinal.
One of your favorites.
Yeah, which he had a sack right before the trade. So, that I think that's a good pickup for them. I like that Cardinals team.
Looking good. We were talking about them before the season started.
Yes, sir.
Looking like that. Imagine you're in the NFC West, Connor, and you're the Rams or the Cardinals, or heck, you could even throw the 49ers in there, and the freaking dumpster fire Eagles or Cowboys are going to take a playoff spot, and one of those teams is probably going to be left out in the cold.
Like I said earlier, though, a few years ago, I think it was Beastquake year, the West was the NFC East. They did send like a 7-9 team hosted a playoff. So it's frustrating. I mean, man, the West is much just must-watch football if the NFC West is playing. I won't watch an NFC East game. I mean,
it's so bad. I didn't watch a minute of that Giants-Eagles game.
And listen, the South is not much better, AFC South, but, at least if you see a Texans game, Deshaun's fun to watch with the Texans. I feel for him because just seeing him get beat to death. But a Titans team, they were fun to watch. Colts team, fun to watch. But, yeah, it's a shame that they're going to be hosting a playoff win.
Hey, I watch every minute of every game. I want the listeners to know that right now.
That's fine. They can know you're a masochist who hates yourself.
Miss your family, miss your Nat.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nat's like, Adam, this game's not even good. Your son is growing up. He's like, shut up. Carson Wentz just went for a -13 loss, honey.
I'm watching the R words, hon.
So bad. Right. Just what a huge, colossal disappointment.
The listeners deserve it.
What do they deserve, Addy?
They deserve me to be on my best. I gotta watch every minute. Sometimes twice.
On Game Pass, just at his office.
Can we cut in Adam just watching film to that All of Me Loves All of You song by John Legend?
Absolutely. I'll get right on that.
Yeah.
Get right on that. Well, we want to give a shout out to Z-Mags for bringing back a segment that we did earlier in the year but had dropped. And we're going to kick it off with our... We're bringing back the Game Fuel and Code Red picks, and we're kicking it off with Game Fuel. And I'm going to be going with our favorite body part, Addy, the chin. Jeremy Chen versus the Atlanta Falcons. This is the Thursday night game. Mr. Chen has totaled at least 7 tackles in every game so far this season. He's a top 5 safety on the year with a sweet matchup against Matt Ryan and the Falcons this week. He is in a position for a very nice IDP performance. So my Game Fuel pick of the week, Jeremy Chen versus the Atlanta Falcons, Addy.
I love that.
All right, who is your Game Fuel pick of the week, hon?
Gotta go with Eric Wilson.
Ooh, one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love Eric Wilson. No more Anthony Barr this season, but Eric Wilson's been great. He's been doing a good job making the most of his snaps. Tackle numbers aren't always, what we want. But he's got that big play upside. I look for him to make some impact plays this week against Green Bay.
Ooh, and it's a rivalry game.
Yeah, let's look at his game log here.
Please do.
Yeah, so week 1 through week 6, 7 points, 19.25, 16 points, 9.75, 29 points, 8 points.
That's a nice little.
That's solid.
That's very solid.
It's a very nice LB3, LB4 for you.
Absolutely. All right, Connie, who's your pick?
My pick is Emmanuel Agba. He is I tried to come up with his nickname here, the Nigerian Nightmare.
Oh, I love that. Is that from Pro Football Reference there?
Yes, that is. The Pro Football Reference.
Fantastic.
I didn't want to butcher that on his name there, but yes, that's going to be my Code Red player. Got 5 sacks on the year. and 4 in the past 3 games. So he's making the most of his snaps at least. So I feel like he's got a decent matchup against the Rams Sunday. So he's going to be my pick there.
I love it. Emmanuel Agba, the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah,
that makes me like him so much better now.
I almost vapor locked there. I was like, "What is his name?" I can't. That's such a cool nickname. You can't butcher that. But yeah, him and Shaq Lawson.
I love it. They're
making noise.
That's right, in the Miami Dolphins defensive ends.
Agba is 12th in the NFL in pressures.
He's had a great
among
year.
Edge rushers.
He's had a great year.
So he's knocking on the door then to kind of make that number tick up even more. So just keep an eye on.
He is, let's see, I'm going to give you all from our RSO league. He is DN10 on the year. Sandwiched in between, how is this possible? Leonard Williams and Yannick Ngakoue. So to give you some context there. Love that pick, Addy. Like we said, Connie, we don't like to skew negative, but we do have to give you all our code red picks for this week. We're saying that in an ideal scenario, if you have to start these guys, that's one thing. But if you have other options, this may be the week to pivot away from some of these players. And as much as this pains me, I just brought him up. Harrison Smith versus the Packers. Now, typically, we'd start Smith with no questions asked. I know that's true of me. But it seems that his time as a top IDP safety may be coming to an end. As sad as that makes me feel in my heart. But he's no longer startable every week, and Green Bay is a tough matchup as well. So I'm saying pump the brakes this week on Harrison Smith.
You sitting him?
I'm sitting him, yeah.
Wow.
I'm going Jonathan Abram and Budda Baker, as we'll talk about.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty good call there.
All right,
pretty
Addy.
easy.
Yeah, who's your code red pick for this week?
Okay, Avery Williamson and Neville Hewitt.
Does this pain you a little bit, putting Avery on this list?
Pretty tough.
Z-Mag's just throwing some daggers right into our heart.
Yeah, Z-Mags.
Ouch, bro.
I'm probably not going to set Avery just because, it's unlikely you have better options. He's been really freaking good lately. So was Neville. But just Kansas City's a tough matchup. They're just usually not a very fruitful spot for linebacker production. So, I just don't like him this week as much. But I understand if you got to play him.
That's right. It's I think Z-Mag's point here was that one of these guys is going to disappoint.
Yes.
So you need to pick out.
Probably Neville. Neville would be the guy that I'd probably sit, even though last week I think he did do better than Avery. But yeah.
Still,
flip a coin.
Yeah, exactly. I would hope that it landed on the Avery Williamson side as well. That's the linebacker in New York.
Both good options. They're both good options.
That's the one if I have to pick one, I'm going with Avery Williamson to start. So Connor, player we just mentioned here, who's your code red pick for this week?
Yeah, we just talked about Yannick, so like you mentioned, I hate to tell you to avoid anybody, but I'd say skew away from Yannick. But, recent move to Baltimore, so he's in a new position there after leaving Minnie, so it's likely Yannick is not going to see as many snaps as he gets acclimated there, so I'd say fade him in that regard. Just maybe sit him one more week and revisit and see what's going on. Hopefully coming, super motivated and wanting to prove himself there in his new team.
And reunited with Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go watch the Ravens clip that their Twitter put out of Calais Campbell's in the middle of an interview, and the guy's like, "Did you hear who we traded for?" He's like, "No, who?" And it's like, we got Yannick. He's, "Oh, really?" He takes out his phone, and he's like, "Yannick, blow me up. Like, hey, call me."
Talking about call me.
Yeah, talking about call me. It was so good, if you haven't seen that.
Really good.
Funny stuff. So, yeah, it's sort of like the Minnesota situation where we're not saying that Yannick's a bad start. We just said he's like D-end 11 on the season. Right. But you're just saying in the new situation, it may take some time for him to get his feet under him. So just pump the brakes and wait a week.
Same thing with Tyrell when we talked about him, which, by the way, they said he's not going to be probably playing for at least, they want him to practice for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So fade that even further, but that's obviously injury-related versus trade-related.
Could be a nice playoff push type of guy.
Exactly. If you need a stash guy, keep him. Yannick, obviously, not that similar role, so just cool it for a week and revisit.
All right, Addy, it's time for everyone in America's favorite segment. Who'd you get? Who'd you get? And we haven't done this for a couple weeks, mainly because we don't want Adam's head to blow off his shoulders. But this is our absolute favorite game show to play on the Big 3 IDP podcast. And we got you've been making some moves. Ooh-wee. As Big Three best friend John Macri now knows firsthand, some players are changing hands in the XFFL. So hit us with some of these moves you've been making.
All I do is make big boy moves, Josh.
Big tings, even with your transactions.
Sure,
Addy.
I ain't never been scared in my life.
Ain't never been scared, except for when the old Halloween music starts cranking up here, Addy. So hit us with some of these trades while we got this music going. This is a perfect background.
This is perfect, guys. I traded away AK.
You did trade away AK.
Yes, sir. So Adam, who'd you get?
Who'd you get?
Deandre Swift. Ooh. And a 2021 first.
That's very nice. That's a very nice haul. Whose first was it? Do you know? Out of curiosity.
It was mine.
You got your own pick back?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I can really tank if I want to
Just
now.
straight Tankapalooza, baby.
Sure.
I love that. All right, and you also made a couple more moves as well.
Yeah. So I mean, this is our RSO league.
Just abruptly. I wish I could fade it out, but
keep it on a loop, man.
Serious.
We need that.
Let's get serious for a second, guys.
yeah, the music is playing on the stream if you guys don't know, but
we're hallucinating for those watching on the stream. We're just laughing at each other.
That's gonna be really good on the pod. I can't
Oh
wait to
yeah,
hear that.
I'm pumped to hear that tonight. Shout out John Carpenter, BG's finest, man. That's so sick.
A lot of BG and Smith's Grove references in this.
Smith's Grove
in Halloween.
Sanitarium. Yep.
I think mainly Smith's Grove.
Yeah, Smith's Grove. Yep.
But still, yeah, Carpenter's from Kentucky, right?
Top 3 horror movies, real quick, just off the top of your head. Let's see. Halloween. What's the other? Is Halloween up there? Just the franchise. Halloween.
I don't know. I didn't like Halloween. I thought it was really boring.
What's the scary one we went and saw in theaters? That was like horrifying in person.
Conjuring.
That was The Conjuring.
Yes,
that's the most terrifying theater experience I've ever had.
Conjuring and the one, The Strangers. Strangers movie is super scary. Don't know if you've seen. I don't know if it would fall under that like horror film like Halloween. It's just a scary like.
So John Carpenter was born in New York, but went to Western Kentucky University. So that's why, he put a lot of those Bowling Green references into his movies.
Where'd you go to school?
Western Kentucky University.
Con?
Oh, with the shirt underneath. I thought you were going to say Colts University. I was like, no, Connor, that's not right.
Bad Radio Part 3, but yeah, it was a WKU shirt under there. I'm a topper, baby.
We all toppers in this house. Oh, thank you, Z-Mags, for pointing out Buddha's on bye this week. So, yes, I probably will be starting either Harrison Smith or Kari Willis. Probably Kari.
Yeah, that's right. You got to practice what you preach.
Practice
You
what I
get canceled!
Harrison Smith is dirty, bro.
Yeah, he's dirty.
He's a dirty player.
He stinks!
He's got a dirty butt. All right. Who else we got here, Addy?
Sir, need to wash that hind in, Harrison!
Wash that hind in. You'd love to see it.
Okay, so in this league, I have Odell, of course. I've got Odell pretty much. Just assume I've got Odell in every league. This is a really bad week for me. So yeah, lost Odell. This team was just, I don't know. I think I have a solid team, but I was making awful calls every single week. I was this probably will come off a little douchey, but I was almost a little too deep. Too many line decisions.
It's true.
Like every week, like even on defense, like it was a nightmare.
Which was funny because 2 years ago, I remember you saying on defense you wanted just the set it and forget it guys. That's always been my approach.
That's what I had. That's what I thought I had. I had it with Buddha, but everyone else, Cam Jordan, he was solid, but he's been kind of a letdown this year. And then like we've mentioned, my linebackers, they've just been nothing but letdowns. Anyway. This team that I have, it's time for me to reassess. I still got a lot of nice young pieces. Still got like Visca, got Debo, got Diggs.
Christian Kirk's been breaking out.
Got Christian Kirk, got
DeAndre
Swift, like I just mentioned. So we got some pieces, got some picks now. Whatever. Cameron Jordan, he's getting up there in years. Love him, grown ass man. He's on the Rushmore. But he's like 30, 31, and he's just been a little bit of a letdown for me. He's also like $7 million in cap. There's all these other factors that you're not taking into account, listeners. But I was able to cash out for a third and a fifth.
That's nice.
Yeah, Cam Jordan for a third and a fifth, pretty decent.
That's a better haul than I thought you would get.
I was looking for a second, and I think he makes a lot of sense for a contender, and especially the team I traded him to. I was trading to contenders. That's the only teams I traded. I traded AK to a guy that is in the mix.
There's like 6 teams. Our league is pretty split right now.
Right.
It's a 12-team league. 6 contenders, 6 people pretty much rebuilding at this
And that's
point.
kind of how it goes. And like this league is ultra competitive. Like we all like each other a whole lot, but also like everyone wants to really win. Everyone really wants that ring.
Who'd you play in the listener league this week?
Connor, I was not even there at that draft. I was grilling.
He was grilling. He didn't care, listeners. He was checked
Yeah,
out.
he doesn't care, listener league.
Of our listener league draft.
Hey, that was the same story last year. I'd let them know on the podcast numerous times that I wasn't paying attention.
So your final trade in this league, Addy?
Kareem Hunt.
Got a nice haul for him as well.
Kareem Hunt, he's gone. His contract was expiring. But
Now you just flipped him for Tremaine Edmonds.
Right. Yes, that's correct. I had Tremaine at the beginning of the year, who's someone I think is kind of overrated, honestly, for IDP. I like him in real life, but I think he's an overrated IDP asset. So I traded him for Kareem Hunt, and then I just traded Kareem Hunt for a 2021 first, a fourth, and a fifth.
So basically, you flipped Tremaine Edmonds for a first, a fourth, and a fifth.
Yes.
With a 3 or 4 week Kareem Hunt rental in there.
Pretty much.
That's nice.
Worked out well.
I love doing the trade, kind of connect the dots of what was the original asset you had, and what did you flip that into?
Yeah, I've been really happy with what I've been able to get out of everything I traded.
Yeah, we should mention the trade here that involves me, but also involves you. So I mentioned acquiring Budda Baker. Traded Denzel Mims, a 2022 first, and a couple 2021 fourths for Budda Baker.
Wow.
Comes out and I think scores 38 points in his debut for the Houston Roughnecks. So very happy. I've moved a lot of high-value picks for defensive studs, but it's really worked out. Devin White and Budda Baker right now. 2 guys I went all in on, and it's working out okay so far.
Josh is, he uses the when you know when it comes to his IDP guys.
That's right.
His targets.
And sometimes you just luck into Brandon Graham because you liked him on the All or Nothing season that he was on, so you flip him for a fourth.
Right, yeah, that's definitely a thing too. But yeah, I was happy to... So
Budda's expiring, and he's going to be pretty expensive.
Budda's expiring. I was kind of in a weird cap situation. I'm not really anymore. I've gotten out of a lot of those messes. But right, he was expiring. And also keep in mind, Budda was a 4th-round rookie pick for me. So it's kind of cool to see what it grew into. It turned into Denzel Mims, a future first, and 2 fourths.
That's right, and Denzel Mims made his debut and I think led the Jets in targets.
And yeah, he's gonna
be great.
He's gonna probably lead the Jets in targets this week.
I'd say so.
No more Perriman.
Perriman got knocked into the 5th dimension. So
I was so scared that was Mims. Was like, oh my god.
Oh, I just traded for him, and now he's been sent to the sunken place.
I was like, please be Perriman. Please be Perriman.
That's my guy. The one Jets player I had left. My flex options are just dropping like flies. So, Connie, did you make any moves? Anything that we should know about here?
Not trade moves, but I've got 2 new meme ideas I've been thinking about here. So y'all handle the trade. So it would just be a real shame if anybody out there listening made maybe John Marcy photoshopped on the no regrets meme for joining the league. So something to throw out there if any of the listeners like that. And
you got to get our boy's name right, Connie. It's John Macri.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just mispronounced it. Misspelled and mispronounced
Marcy's Playground.
Yeah.
Sex and Candy. Remember that song, boys?
Not at all, Adam. Not at all.
Yeah.
You would have you heard
But
it.
I do love the John Macri no regrets meme.
Yeah, it's got his. I got a little bit of dyslexia going on there. The John Macri no regrets meme from what was that movie with Jennifer Aniston? She was just
We the Millers.
We're the Millers.
We're the Millers.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, just
We the Millis.
We
and me and the Carson Wentz
We the
meme.
Millers.
We the Millers. Hey. But yeah,
That's a very funny movie. It's an awkward movie to watch with your parents, which I did when Jennifer Aniston's strip scene comes on. It's always the best, just watching borderline sex scenes with your parents in movies.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm just gonna go light myself on fire now, if you'll excuse me.
she's still straight, just smoke.
She's a smoke show, though. That is very true. And then you also mentioned, we talked about this, the Connor and Carson Wentz Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, it's very ugly when people come after me and say y'all both have a red beard and you kind of look similar. So it'd just be a shame if anybody did either of those memes.
That's right. All right, well, let's hit the main segment here, boys. We've got 12 second-half saviors. We're each going to take 4 and just go round the table. So I will kick us off here with the aforementioned Hassan Reddick for the Arizona Cardinals. So with Chandler Jones out for the season, Reddick has seen some increased snaps and has made some impact plays in his expanded role. He has a few, weeks of tough matchups ahead, but I think he's worth a roster spot at this time. If he's out there on your waiver wires, go pick him up, Addy. I really like his ability to get you some nice points, especially if you're dealing with those injuries or bad trades or bye weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Like he is balling right now. Like he is a must own, must add.
And he's one of those guys that disappointed for a long time for both NFL and IDP purposes, so we're not willing to really trust him, but we should. Trust what your eyeballs are telling you.
And that was always the story from the beginning with him, was he was a bit of a project, kind of similar like to Isaiah Simmons, But people just are impatient. Some of these guys, he's still probably like 25, I bet,
He's probably 17 or 18 years old, just fresh out of high school, pimple-faced.
He's young.
He hasn't even gone through puberty yet. Like, everyone chill. But yeah, I think Hassan Reddick, especially with Chandler Jones out, that's the thing. We haven't seen Hassan Reddick recently, in the past couple years, with Chandler Jones gone. So this is a totally new context in which we get to see him play.
He's 26, so, yeah, like you said. Give him some time.
Still puberty on the horizon.
Yeah. He's just been able to rent a hotel room like in the last year in his name, so...
And rent a car as well.
That's what I was thinking of. Rent a car.
Yeah, I was an idiot at 26.
Yeah, what were you doing at 26?
What wasn't I doing?
That's a good question.
Can't put that on the potty, baby.
All right, so one of your favorites here, we mentioned DJ Wanham, but we've got to talk about the other defensive end there in Minnesota, Addy, who's the second half savior.
Fetty Odanigbo.
Ooh, baby.
He's been playing good. He's been playing good. The pressure numbers are fine. He's been the one, Yannick was obviously playing good, but Fetty's been the one bright spot. A little bit of the concern is, he's going to have probably more focus on him, with no more Yannick. He's really about all they have. Hopefully DJ Wanham is the real deal, but still, it's going to be Odanigbo, being the guy that they rely on for pressure. But I think he's up to the task. That's a bad defense. They're going to be out there a lot. Excited for it.
Fire up Fetty, especially with both the presumed starters now gone. If you were a little bit disappointed in Odanigbo so far this season, hold on. I think the best is yet to come for Odanigbo. So, number 3, Connie, who we got out of Houston?
We got Tyrell Adams. Bernard McKinney went to the IR. Adams hasn't looked back, really.
He's been great.
He has.
He's been balling out.
Tackle points, even making plays in the backfield, so he's been all over the place. Houston, man, I just talk about underachieving. Same thing we're talking about with Minnesota there. I would give Minnesota the title of best underachieving team when you just look at the roster and what they should be versus where they're at. But yeah, I think Tyrell Adams, potential bright spot.
Great ad. Past 3 games in our RSO league, 21, 19.5, and 14.25.
That's like Kuechly-esque.
It really is. This could be a guy that, depending on how it shakes out,
he's
a league winner. I don't know that he'll have. He didn't have the start to the year to finish top 12 because his first 4 games he scored 5 points or whatever.
But if you look on what he's averaging, when he's getting the at least 59 snaps, he's gonna be right there with the top.
And McKinney's not coming back because he's on IR. Nope. He's gone.
Is J.J. Watt leaving Houston too?
That's possible.
I've heard that rumor getting floated. He may get traded here before the deadline to a contender.
Did you see that? Romeo said that the GM had come to him and said that some guys may be on the block, but
isn't the deadline this week?
So I think it's next week, but you may see some movement early because of the COVID IR regulations. So next up here, Las Vegas, Nick Kwiatkowski. Things started off slow for Nick. We knew he was injured. But once he's fully healthy, there's potential for him to become one of the leading tacklers and playmakers on the Raiders defense. This was a guy we loved preseason. He got hurt. Corey Littleton's been kind of meh there. And so we love Nick Quick to come in and help fill that void that we thought Corey was going to fill, but has not thus far, Addy.
Yeah, he's healthy again. 55 snaps last week, 7 tackles. So yeah, I agree. I think he's someone that you can kind of start with confidence going forward and expect better days to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to look and see what his scoring was last week, So against Tampa Bay, yes, 7.5 points. So not going to be a guy that I'm expecting linebacker 1 numbers from, but as an LB2, LB3, that's a good-looking spot for your squad.
You got bye weeks coming up. He's going to be someone that's going to be a fine start.
So next up, this is somebody that should be on everyone's radar here, Addy, but let's go to Carolina.
Yeah, Jeremy Chen, he's been great this year. I mean, love seeing that from the jump. I mean, his worst game as far as tackles go was Week 6 against Chicago, where he only had 5. But other than that, he's had 8 tackles, 6 tackles, 12 tackles, 8 tackles, 9 tackles, 5, 8 tackles. I mean, just tearing it up.
He's everything we thought would come out of that safety spot with Eric Reed gone.
Yeah, he's the
safety
piece,
too from last year.
He's the piece you want on that defense.
Shaq Thompson hasn't really been that guy.
Yeah, he's been fine, but not what we were expecting. We were expecting him to put up Kuechly numbers,
and he hasn't. But Chen has put up Eric Reed numbers.
Yes.
So you'd love to see it, Addy. Good choice there. Connie, hit us with the next guy out of Pittsburgh.
Out of Pittsburgh, we got Stephon Tuitt. So Pittsburgh's defense, I don't know if you are with me on this, but every time I've watched them recently, it almost seems like there's maybe like 15 people on the field.
Yeah, they're playing with some extra guys, I think.
Yeah, my Steelers fanatic buddy, who, if you're a Steelers fan, that's just kind of a prerequisite, is that you're just out of control, fanatical about it. He thinks it's their best defense they've played with since like the James Harrison and Palomalu days.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I like Tuitt. But that whole defense is full of playmakers, so take that for what you will. He could be getting some of the shine, but it could obviously be spread around quite a bit because they got a lot of dogs on that team. So their D-line, among the best in the league, if not the best. The D-line position is volatile, but, Tuitt looks like he could be the piece to the roster along with Hayward there. So,
He leads that team in pressures.
Which is insane to me.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is.
34, which is tied 4th in the league.
Wow. And you would think, Devin Bush going down, this is, a real gut punch to that team. But then you have, out of nowhere, Robert Spillane.
Yeah, he's fine. Didn't have the week that I think a lot of us expected. Or
only 3.75 points. But that defense, the team got the win against a really tough Titans team. So, this is the best defense in the league. Tampa Bay's up there as well, but I think it's Pittsburgh in a league of its own right now, and Stephon Tuitt's a big part of the reason why.
And we'll see with the Ravens. I like what they did getting Yannick. That was a nice ad, but yeah, I agree. Talent-wise and just, as far as how a front seven's playing, there's no one better than the Steelers right
Not
now.
even close. Yeah, I agree. It's been really, really fun to watch. Next up, we got out of the ATL, Foyesade Oluokun. So Foye looks like he is the linebacker to roster in Atlanta. Dion Jones hasn't been horrible, but he's been outscored by Oluokun pretty regularly. We know that Oluokun had the 3 forced fumbles in one half of football, which may be the craziest stat of the year in my opinion. If he's still out there, he could be, he shouldn't be out there, but if he is, go get him off your waivers. And you could possibly even grab him for cheap still in a trade. If you play in a league with some dopes.
That's probably the move. I think he's. There's probably still going to be people that are hesitant to trust him, but you could probably acquire him in a dynasty for less than a third. I would think, right?
Oh,
maybe
absolutely.
Maybe not in like somewhere like Sleeper because he gets that dual designation, which is nuts.
Ridiculous. Safety designation, right? Or DB?
Yes, DB, right. So
wild.
Yeah, he's a cheat code in there.
All right, Connie, we're actually going to pivot to you for this next one because we talked about this guy as your game fuel pick. Who's the next second half savior?
Out of the Trail 5 MIAO, Ricky Rose, Emmanuel Agba. Agba, again, making big headlines with his play in Miami. Him and Shaq Lawson, 1-2 punch there. It seems like he's just a guy there that's going to continue to be a playmaker. He's definitely worthy of being rostered with the way he's been performing. So, again, I'm riding hard from the guy there out of the Trio 5.
Trio 5, Miami, not a team that I think a lot of people expected to have some IDP pieces from this season. So I think, Addy, what I'm seeing a lot on this list is overcoming some of the skepticism or sort of, preconceived notions that we had about going into this season about certain teams, and just accepting the fact that there's value to be found even on teams where we didn't think there would be value.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and teams like that, even the bad teams or the teams that don't seem like they have a lot of talent, they're just going to be out there a lot. They're going to have a lot of snaps, and like we've preached over and over and over again, snaps translates into fantasy points. So yeah, I mean, you just want to kind of see the trends and how that stuff, flows week to week. And guys like Agba kind of come out of nowhere, every year it seems. But he's had the luxury of, no Shaq losses. That's been nice.
That does help a lot. Now, you mentioned this guy again as your game fuel pick, but it sounds like we're liking this linebacker from Minnesota to continue this excellent play throughout the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's just someone that every time he's out there, he always produces.
And we should mention this is Eric Wilson.
Yes, Eric Wilson. Sorry.
The Eric Bros. It always is very confusing to me which one's being talked about here. Because
Right.
you have Eric Kendricks and Eric Wilson.
Yeah.
And then you have Harrison Smith and who's the other Harris back there that's the safety?
Anthony Harris.
Anthony Harris. All very confusing.
I understand that. But yeah, I mean, Eric Wilson, he's just, he's getting 100% of the snaps right now, wearing the green dot, and just making plays. And I do expect the tackle numbers to come up a little bit. So I think he's a pretty safe start. I've got him in pretty much every league, every IDP league I'm in, and I'm thrilled to have him.
Agreed. Yeah, I've got Eric Kendricks. That's been a fun player to roster this season.
He's been so good.
But he's just a great linebacker.
Yep.
And remember you said last year he was the highest graded linebacker by PFF.
Yep.
There's a reason for that. He's just really, really good. Sometimes good players transcend what we think about, IDP and regression and, will guys fall back to earth? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. A guy that hasn't fallen back to earth, despite the fact that, he was... someone that maybe overachieved a little bit in IDP players' eyes last year. This is Logan Ryan, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, now with the New York Giants. Shouldn't really be a surprise. It's taken Ryan a little bit to get acclimated with his new team and the role, but he's starting to look like the number one DB from last year, which was, again, crazy. I don't think anyone saw a number one overall DB finish coming for a cornerback from Tennessee. So it's unlikely to him for finish in that same position at this point. I don't think he's going to be DB1 again, but he's still a guy that could save your fantasy squad when it counts the most, which is that run up to the playoffs. So go out there and get Logan Ryan if you can, Addy.
Yeah, I think he's a good trade target.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's a older fella. I think he's like already 29, 30. But I mean, in your quarterback required leagues, he is a bit of a cheat code there. With same like Marlon Humphrey types. He's a guy that gets a lot of tackle numbers, which is kind of rare for corners.
There's like 5 plug-and-play cornerbacks.
He's one of them.
He's on that list. So especially if you're in cornerback-required leagues, go get Logan Ryan. Even if you're not, he is somebody that I would have confidence starting alongside the top safeties there. So let's go back to the ATL, Addy, for second-half savior number 11. Who are we talking about here?
Keanu Neal.
Ooh, take me to the Matrix, baby.
Well, I mean, he's balling. He seems to be fully recovered, coming off a humongous week. I mean, great signs. There's not a lot there in front of him outside of Foyesade. Dion Jones has been a bit of a letdown. So I mean, he's gonna mop up. They're gonna be in shootouts. They're gonna be out there a lot. But he's healthy, so that's for now.
For now, exactly.
For now, until he's not.
Please, Lord, just let his Achilles and ACLs be okay. Just protect them.
But yeah, I mean, love to see it. Keanu Neal, everybody's rooting for this guy.
Absolutely. All right, Connie, take us home. Second half savior number 12. Who are we talking about?
For the Jets, even though I dogged him earlier, again, God love for him for our guy George Fant. But Avery Williamson, I think managers have forgotten how good Williamson was a couple of years ago.
That's right.
But, he missed last season, obviously. Williamson has started off slow, but he's really starting to gain on his peers in the linebacker, at least from point ranking standpoint.
Points per game, yeah. It's a gross situation. No one wants to talk about fantasy pieces from the New York Jets, But there's value to be had there, just like there's value to be had in Miami and Washington and Dallas and some of these other gross situations. And Avery Williamson, along with some of those secondary pieces, is, definitely a nice piece to have.
Doing great. I mean, I hate to call him gross because he's actually a good player. I really do like Avery.
Gross situation.
But yes, exactly right. I mean,
What if he chews with his mouth open, though? Would you
It's
consider him
pretty
a
gross,
gross player
yeah.
then?
Hey, UK boy right here,
Who's that?
Avery.
True?
Is he really?
Yeah,
Did not realize that. I like him a lot more now. I take it back, Avery. You're a closed mouth chewer.
but okay. So I mean, the thing with Avery is the playing time was really wonky there at the beginning. Like we were just kind of waiting for him to get healthy. But this was. Your boy was all over this. Your boy, if you go look at some tweets. I said Neville Hewitt, Avery Williamson, those are going to be the linebackers you want. Who do you want right now, Josh?
I want Avery Williamson and Neville Hewitt.
Joe Namath voice, I want to kiss you.
Yeah, I want to kiss you right now. I want a sandwich.
You look good.
You look good tonight, Eddie.
But so last 3 games for Avery, 93%, 94%, 97% of the snaps.
Eddie's looking at those game logs with this in his head.
Right, it's time for Avery.
Are we gonna keep these sound effects on the board, like play them at Christmas?
Yes, dude. I mean, I love these. I mean, I love the Halloween spooky stuff.
This Halloween is great because what's great is you can throw that on, and then also go with the witch
Oh man,
and layer them. So
I discovered this. I can't wait to. Whenever we didn't have the board for DF Triple S this week, but I'm gonna start playing everything all at once.
That's what people are here for. They want to hear that like Skrillex mashup of like Halloween sounds.
I just faded it out. I found out how to do it.
I'm starting Williamson,
So
by
proud
the
of
way,
myself.
in the listener league.
Oh,
I
are you?
have been, yeah. I mean, he's projected to get 12.3 points, so he's been balling.
He's great.
I totally forget he went to Kentucky. He was there in 2010, so you're 100% right there.
And
Look
Connor,
that up.
you've been on a little bit of a winning streak. You're doing better than either of us in the listener league right now.
People
Yeah.
are saying that. People are saying, at least according to what
Streets is talking.
the standings, final standing projections. We'll see.
Hey, I have Saquon and Christian McCaffrey and Bosa, so just keep that in mind.
Maybe if you hadn't been grilling, you would have known they were going to get hurt. Piece of trash.
I went from second projected till 7th, at least on this initial projection, so I feel like that's kind of harsh. So we'll see what happens. I'm on a
That
little
is.
heater, though.
A little bit of a heater.
Paper Tiger,
Paper tagger.
going nowhere. I'd go ahead and rebuild in that redraft league if I were you.
I whipped
Bill-
your ass last week. You know that.
Rebuilding that redraft league. Freaking ridiculous. I'm gonna go Carol Baskin on you and feed you to them Tigers in that listener league, Connie. You just wait. All right, well, I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. Once again, I want to applaud us for keeping it to a tight 75-minute episode.
Connor demands it.
Toy,
right.
toy like a toy gun.
Gotta get in bed.
He's got to get in bed. We've tried to tell him to stop waking up early to work out, but he's not listening. So please sound off in the comments if Connor needs to stop taking his health so seriously and start enjoying his time a little bit more.
Making real bad choices, Connor.
Real
I don't
bad.
look like I work out, so it's not like I'm really like doing anything. It's more of just the mental thing of like
listen
saying I
to
did
him.
work out today.
Listen to him acting like he ain't hot as hell.
Yeah, take off that shirt, Connie. Take off your shirt.
Take it off.
Hey.
Top of the shirt.
If people say you look like Carson Wentz, are you that hot? Now, if people are like, you look like Jimmy G, it's like, damn, I'm super hot.
You look like a hot Carson Wentz.
All we're doing is talking about hot dudes on this episode.
That's welcome to the Big 3 IDP
Welcome to
pod,
Big
Connie.
Three.
Pop for the course!
God, all right, I'm going to get us out of here before Markham literally obliterates his microphone. Well, thank you all for listening. Be sure to leave us a review over on iTunes. It helps us out a lot.
Absolutely.
Consider supporting the show over anchor.fm/Big3IDP. We want to give a shout out to our patrons, as always.
Love you, boys.
Some of our favorite babies over there. And we'll be back next week, another episode. We don't know what that will look like yet, but make sure to tune in for in a couple weeks. We're hopeful to have Mark Sessler, the Quiet Storm, back on the show. Should be a lot of fun. And the game recap tweets, we'll have those going out tomorrow and Thursday, so keep an eye out for those. The wheel keeps turning, Addy. Fantasy season, we're past the halfway point now. Kind of crazy.
That's right. It's all coming to an end. But hey, we're going to be here with you every step of the way.
That's right, and we're going to take you out with a little bit of the Halloween music for our audio pod listeners. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for watching the live stream. Stay safe out there, and we will see you guys next week.